You know what developers like to do? Write code. Do you know what businesses like their developers doing? Writing code. Do you know what both businesses and developers hate? Inefficiency. Was that too obvious? Well, you might think so at the surface, but efficiency is a deep rabbit hole and can be defined in a ton of different ways in the context of development. So today, let me ask you for a few minutes of your time so we can go down the efficiency rabbit hole together. Are you ready? You know, I don't really think I could ever sum up just how obsessed I am with developer efficiency in just one video. I think that spending time making it so every developer can do more coding and less other garbage is the secret to success in any kind of software project. So to attempt to scratch the surface today, I'm going to discuss the top 3 places where devs unnecessarily waste most of their time and end up thrashing the timeline of a development project. And the very first one is local development environment setup. At the risk of having you all leave and stop watching this video, I'd like you to go and look at GitHub at some random projects. How many of them have the most ass-backwards instructions on how to actually get the project working locally? Not only is this like the #1 reason that a developer would choose not to contribute to an open source project, but it also is a process that collectively adds hundreds of hours to a business-driven software project. The most terrible examples go one of 2 different ways. One, either there's no instructions, and the only way you'll ever get up and running locally is to talk to someone that has already used the project, or there are instructions, but they're outdated and they only work on certain machines or only really work like half the time. From a developer's perspective, if you spend half a day, or even half an hour for that matter, fiddling around with the dependencies and the local development tools before you can start the task you've been assigned, you start your day on the completely wrong foot. You also end up looking like you code super slowly because all the time you're wasting just getting everything set up. From a management perspective, projects that don't have a simple setup process might as well just be burning money. It's repetitive toil that results in 0 gained output and never gets any better. So here's my advice on how to fix local environment setup. Actually, there's 2 different options. #1 by far is to use Docker containers. Docker containers for development standardize the development stack and lock in all the dependency versions so nobody has anything to worry about. As an additional bonus, it also greatly reduces that whole works on my machine problem. And #2, if that fails, is to use makefiles or setup scripts. If the nature of your project isn't container friendly, take the time to write a script that'll set up the project for the first time for a developer. This process can be a little more complicated than it seems at the surface, but absolutely worth the effort. Try to think about stuff like dependency versions, different machine architectures like Mac versus Windows, and the fact that the person doing the work has to work on multiple projects at the same time. All right, #2, testing and preparing demos. After completing a code test, there's nothing more frustrating than have to manually prepare a demo environment or a space for QA to do their thing. This type of work is super time consuming and it's just another distraction that pulls devs away from their actual job of writing code. I think for a lot of companies, this is just part of a dev's job description, but why? I think they can complete the task spec and then move on to the next. That is much better use of their time and the company's dollars. So how do you avoid wasting a bunch of time preparing a nice place to test? Well, automate. So let me set the bar for you. A developer should be able to finish their task, open a pull request, and essentially walk away. If they have to do anything else, you're wasting time on repetitive work that is getting you pretty much nowhere. Now, where the magic happens is with all the automated stuff that happens after the dev walks away. First, you'll have automated unit tests that are going to run. Second, you'll have like a static code analysis. Third, a test environment should be automatically built. Fourth, an integration end-to-end tests are automatically run. And then #5, the product manager is notified that the environment is ready for a demo. If any of these automated processes fail, the developer is notified and come back and fix whatever happened. If the self-demo leads to questions or concerns, the product manager can reach out with the dev and ask the questions that they need. And believe me, the last thing anyone wants is to submit work that doesn't meet requirements. You'd be surprised how much effort someone will put in to avoid having to re-explain their work. You should just try it out. #3 is requirement misunderstandings. This one is definitely one of those an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure scenarios. It's also the only scenario in this list where I'm recommending that a developer take their hands off the keyboard and just have a simple conversation. It's amazing to me how many companies do the exact opposite of that. They write requirements in a vacuum with no developer input or Q&A session. They then follow up in a demo to clarify the finer points of the request after the work has been completed. And this is just completely upside down. For a manager, the solution to this one should be pretty self-explanatory. When you want to make something, talk to the person who will be making it. Have a real, meaningful conversation about the goals of the project. Talk about what you want, what you don't want, and where you might be flexible. For a developer, trying to get this started at a place of work might be challenging. If you do manage to get the team to try it, don't blow it by being a jerk. Really listen to what the company is trying to accomplish. Make suggestions where time can be saved or where doing work now may pay off in the long run without sounding like you're over-engineering everything. If you just watched all this and thought, hey, these sound like great ideas, I promise this is just scratching the surface. Each of the 3 methods that I just ran through have a ton of finer details that just couldn't go into this video. If you really start to look hard at where developers are spending their time, you can begin to see the wasted hours, minutes, and even seconds that all add up. So give it a shot, forge forward, and take a dive down the rabbit hole. Just see how deep it goes.